That's because there is a lot of cooperation with each other, and killer needs to show a little bit of skill. And that, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're loading in here. Freddy on DDS. It's a set that I'm always still really excited to see since I think I talked about this 2 days ago as well. We're still kind of figuring out a lot of strategies and what to do. Especially on the killer side, there's just so much to think about. There's so much to micromanage, both macro and micro-wise. In Chase, you have multiple different tools at your disposal, and you're always able to teleport anywhere around the map, which, even though it's already a small map, is still a really good use. I'm gonna be instantly throwing down this pallet over at the water tower, which is usually a pretty strong pallet. We do get a nice snare hit, though, just before breaking it while Kate was on the short side, so that's actually going to result in quite an early tag. We're seeing, I think, a pretty standard build, I would say. Eruption, Call of Brine are going to be really good for holding any potential free gens we have. However, no, we do have a pretty strong free gen actually around the Gallows, which is usually the free gens I think most DDS killers are hoping to hold since it's really strong. You only have a couple of pallets the survivors could use, and after that it is a insane dead zone. Getting some nice mind games on this tile, and we get a nice grab for a pretty fast early chase, so I think Dante's definitely pretty happy with that.
I feel like most of the killer prefer to play Ruin with Sloppy and try to play hit and run. But this time we can see some interesting build from our killer, and we can see Eruption with Colobrine and Painteress, hoping that he's gonna get the down very fast and he won't need to play for the hit and run.
Yeah, I mean, Sloppy, well, it is a really strong perk on Freddy. I feel like the slowdown is just a little bit safer, maybe, but I don't know. I've always been a huge fan of Sloppy, so maybe we might see some times where Sloppy could have come in handy, you know, especially looking for resets. That's something you often have to play for. And breaking this pallet, I feel like Freddy's maybe not too interested in mind gaming pallets for too long, which even though you do have the snares, it can always be really dangerous, but we're just swinging through it and getting a nice hit. That is absolutely what we needed, because this chase is also in what we talked about earlier, the Gallows free gen. If he dies right here, that would be quite unfortunate. And looks like we're... Oh, I thought we were gonna die on the pallet, but we get a crazy pallet stunned off.
I feel like our killer prefers to play for the Thrashes and play for the PRs, so he can hold the free gen for as long as he can, and hoping that Survivor will make a mistake and that will result in 4K. Well, let's see, maybe this strategy will give him some value. We can see another Painter coming in. We hope that Survivor is gonna find a place to reset the Kate and get the progress on the gens, because we are still on 5 gens. I think this is not enough pressure for survivors. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Eneida's being a little bit overwhelmed right now with these chases from Dantes that are coming out. 2 pretty early hooks, and now we have this really important hook in the middle of Gallows, and we actually catch the person off guard who was going to go for the unhook. First generator is finally popping. We're going to be trying our pallets, and we get an insane hit while they're still kind of zoned. And now we have 2 injured survivors, and the survivor who's in chase is right next to this hook, so we're not really going to be able to do much. I think right here Dante should just go back to the hook, absolutely, and we're not going to give this unhook for free. So now either Lemonade has to come and sacrifice 2 health states, which is really bad, because Dantes now has all of the survivors injured, and he has a couple different options. He could choose to either commit this Boxer Killer, which is tunnel health, which he's doing right now, it seems. He could have even just gone and gotten that Painteress onto Lemonade, who just traded. But I feel like, I mean, with these chases so far, it's really not a bad option to go for this tunnel out, especially since I do believe Boxer Killer will be going down there quite soon, unless we see a juicer chase on the toilet pallet, but that's not going to be happening. Going to be down right on top of it, and we actually see a reset coming through, which might indicate that Lemonade might not even get picked up in time, depending on where the reset is taking place. This could be quite bad.
I don't think the trade was the strat for survivors, because they're giving another Painteress. If killer finds him, yeah, he finds him. This another Painteress. The gens I feel like are 0, and the situation the survivors are in might not be the best for them. they need to find the spot to unhook again our tunnel out and stealth him out, so killer won't find him. Probably will killer just try to get to the free gen, and we see another gen popping, but tunnel out free gen is still a pretty bad situation.
I do just want to touch up on a pretty interesting strategy Dantas just used. Instead of hooking Lemonade on that exact same hook where he had hooked the previous survivor, he actually chose to drag them further away from the free gen and opting not to use the pain res on them, which I believe he is trying to just save those pain reses for only hitting the generators in this free gen he has on Gallows, which is a pretty unique strategy because we knew there was going to be some progress on other generators. Like, only one generator had popped, and we've been in this trial for quite a few minutes now, so there was at least one generator close to popping, which ended up being Water Tower. But Dantas was just not interested in stopping that generator at all. He wants to keep all his regression events on these gens in his free gen, which is quite a unique strategy, but it might work out well. We'll just have to see. It means we still have 2 pain reses available, which is always going to be good, especially once we reach the 3v1.
I feel like our killer is trying to spread the most hook as he can, and hope that Survivor is gonna make a mistake and die in the in his free gen. That's what happened this time. And right now he needs to just realize that survivors can hook for freely and just hope that they won't two-man save it. You can see Reset finding in here and kicking the gen for eruption with Call of Brine, a little bit of regression. Our survivor is barely playing aggressive. Yeah, this is unhook for it. This is the proper play, and let's see if our killer is gonna just commit the chase. We can see that our killer is trying to get the tag as fast as he can. Some 50s on the tile. Unfortunate 50, and we get to the hit.
Yeah, okay, and then more generators are popping, but we have enough time to commit this chase if Dantas wants, just because we had so much pressure in the early game. Like, there's not enough generators popping at all, and the last time we checked our free gen, they were all still pretty much 0, so Dantas is completely fine just committing here, and he should get this down just before the pallet. Yeah, he will be going down, but we do know there was a survivor around here who just popped his generator upstairs, so we're definitely gonna have to look where the survivor might be stealthing. Uh-oh. No, I don't hear any footsteps. There's no footsteps. I see some scratch marks in main. Maybe the survivor actually just chose to send it, and Lemonade was instead just baiting it by waving under the pallet, which of course can always buy a little bit of time. The killer is scared enough that there might be someone nearby. Now we see someone desperately trying to rotate out of this free gen. He does not have time, sadly. We're going to be forced to drop one of the best pallets we still have remaining here. I'm not sure we can just commit this chase. We didn't. I mean, yeah, all of the gens were pretty much 0, so Dantas doesn't really care. Opting to play for the window, really well played here. Doesn't want to get hit by that dream pallet. That would be catastrophic, especially if you're zoned to the gallows area again.
I think Proxy Killer is Death Hook, so they need to play like a group right now, so they won't let the tunnel out die right now, because the 3v1 at 2 gens might be a catastrophic play because there is no pallets around the top side of the map, and the pre-run is not helping even against Freddy because of the teleportation.
Absolutely, both sides are playing it quite well at this point. As you mentioned, Eneida trying their absolute best to deny any tunnel out. Sadly, this pallet was already dropped, so Disaster will be going down. But at least this is not their tunnel out, so they're going to stay in the foreground just a little bit longer, I believe. And... oh no, wait, this was another tunnel out. Oh god. Oh no, that's bad. And yeah, now we're just going to kick our generators and we're going to be completely fine. The survivors still need to spend so much time resetting. We have one survivor who right now is broken, which I believe is probably the perk Clean Break, which automatically heals someone within, I believe, 80 seconds. And I would assume we see Lemonade getting a reset soon as well. Maybe, yeah, somewhere around the main or bottom side of the map. But we are just going to quickly kick this, get their Call of Brine and Eruption going, before we try to look for any of these survivors, their exact location.
I feel like the strategy with spreading the hooks around the survivors pay him off, because the survivors didn't have like hit tanks to help the survivor to like last a little bit longer. We can see a little bit of chase on the toilet pallet, hoping that he's not gonna get hit very fast.
Ooh.
And just some 50s winning. Let's see if we're gonna win the 50. We just hope for the good hit into the main. We can see some Call of Brine value, and Killer just gonna drop the chase, hoping for the tag, and he gets it. He might commit it, because the survivor needs to reset, they can't work the gens.
The only thing is we don't know where Proxer Killer is right now, but it actually doesn't matter. We're just instantly getting this down, and we're gonna be freely hooking this. Probably dragging it towards the top side of the map, maybe even get it in basement. Yeah, we are just gonna go all the way to 9. Yeah, as you said, Lemonade and Proxer Killer have to try to find a reset right now. Which, yeah, I mean, I don't hear a lot of cars on this gen. I definitely think that it's resetting somewhere around the main. We still have a pain res available on the person who is on the hook right now, which is a pretty good situation to be in. Actually find the healthy survivor doing a gen deep in 12, which is a bit interesting. It means Lemonade has to be somewhere for the pull. But instead of trying to find that, we're just going to commit this chase since we get a nice tag. Dantas is not losing a bunch of 50s in a row, so he's always going to be getting some hits on his pallets. And now we are just, of course, cutting off the reset. We see one survivor here. Not entirely sure where Boo has gone in the meantime, but Dantas seems completely content just following this chase. A crazy pallet snipe comes through. I wasn't even imagining that might hit. They were so far away still. That's insane, and Lemonade will be going on the hook for the last time of this trial. Now we have 2 injured survivors with 2 generators remaining that need to be popped, and I don't think that's going to be happening, I'm completely honest. We also instantly find Boo, who is still our pain risk, so even if Proxer Killer is cranking away at those Yens right now, it's just not... Wait! Never mind!
We can see some survivors stealthing around the gen, even if the killer teleports in them. That was some bold strategy from the team Eneida, and hoping that killer won't find them. And yeah, probably that's the end of this match, because the situation is 2v1 when someone is slacked already on the ground. Let's see if the mind game works with the poker room. Survivor lose a little bit of distance, but still he makes... That's unfortunate, and we can see the last survivor going down, and that results the 4k1. What do you think about that result?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sure. I feel like our killer felt so in control the entire trial. So the fact that Eneida was able to pop this many generators, and especially that last generator baiting the chase further away, I feel like it's really well played, and this is definitely a result they put down, which is absolutely tieable. I mean, 4k1 on DDS is absolutely not unheard of. I feel like almost any killer might be able to get good results on this map if they play it well enough. So I don't know. I'm excited to see what Eneida is able to bring this trial. What about you?
Welcome everyone back from into the second match of first set. Eneida on the killer side. We can see another Freddy set, which is very interesting because we are gonna see another build and another probably strategy from our killer. We can see some rapid and pop without eruption. What do you think about that, Sinter?
I can't lie, I'm not sure what to think about this. I haven't seen that much rapid on Freddy. I feel like it kind of makes sense. Like it's the same reason Clown would use it, because his M2 also slows down. But I feel like that's usually not the main power of Freddy as a killer, but I mean, we'll just have to see. I feel like Proxer Killer, he's probably tried it out, he's tried some different builds, so I'm excited to see value from Rapid, which even though sometimes it's kind of hard to actually feel how much value you get from Rapid, you can definitely tell the chases do just last a little bit faster. We're already trying to play some 50s on this water tower pallet, everyone's absolute favorite pallet. No one's actually trying to break it from the zoning side, and it works out perfectly. This is, I'm pretty sure, the exact same first hit as the last trial, so that's quite similar so far then.
Yes, this is, I think this is, yeah, the same. I'm not sure if this is the chase that killer wants, because with this setup that... Oh, I don't think I'm in the correct spot, because that might be a hit. Ooh, that is not a hit, and we're reaching Shack with that kind of distance, but we decide to go to the main pallet. which is also one of the options that Survivor had. We're losing the 50, and this is the first down of the trial.
When we're actually seeing Freddy not interested in picking this just yet. He's gonna be taking the chase to this gen that I feel like he realized it was getting stacked. He interrupts it just a little bit. He might be able to get the pain res still in time, but wait, we've actually lost our survivor on the ground. This is really unfortunate. This might be tenacity or something, and this is a pretty big time waste. We do find him in the end, but we're too scared of the generator popping. I'm not entirely sure if this is the play. In the last trial, this might have made a little bit more sense since we had a really good free gen around this gallows area, but we only have 2 gens here. This is actually the balance line survivor, so they're going to be able to run away all the way to main. Romeo gets picked up in the meantime. Survivor's doing such a great job right now, running the pressure and taking advantage of this small mistake that Freddy made, and we're actually popping the other gen on Gallows, which is all the way deep 12. I didn't even realize there was another survivor there.
Our killer might be a little bit of a trouble. He needs to 4K to win the set, but we don't see even a down at this moment. They're playing, our survivors is playing very well, and the chase are so long that killer can't do anything. I think that's a first down, yeah. That's a first down, and I don't think killer has any free gen around the top side. He can hope for any forgen and bottom, but survivors are not letting him have a little bit of time to breathe even. They're just sitting on the gens, giving him a little bit of hard time and just spreading the pressure around the map.
And hey, as a caster, you always gotta say, it ain't over till it's Jover. And we have a... I mean, you're talking about free gens. We actually have a pretty good free gen around Water Tower, especially since the generator on 6 is all the way upstairs, and there's this one other gen in the tile. It's definitely pretty holdable, and... I mean, I've seen crazier plays. We know exactly where every single survivor is right now. This is crucial for Proxer Killer. We just saw Adam running towards the Gallows area, or maybe a little bit towards main. But he might have been ready to pull, but I think he's now going to be going for the pickup onto Dantes. Yet we do see the healing here. He's actually going to try to interrupt that since they are still asleep. They never woke up, and that is going to be another tag onto Manser. Ooh, wait, is it? No! It's really unlucky. That's some good movement, and we just barely miss our snare, which does allow him to get to the window, and maybe our other survivors able to get to free pull in time. Yes, it is free, but just barely.
It's a little bit of a trouble. Our survivor has another setup, but I don't think he wants to commit that chase. He needs to hope for any mistakes from survivor side, and hoping that there will be any chance that he will get a tunnel out very fast.
I mean, in these types of games, I feel like even with a tunnel out, it's gonna be really hard to let only 2 more gens pop, especially when survivors are doing such a great job in chase. It's better to play for these weird snowball situations where we're almost just able to take advantage of it, but it just barely slipped out of our fingers, which is really unfortunate. In the meantime, Romeo is not going to be making another pilot. Wow, the Freddy slowdown really coming in clutch. That was a lot more slower than I expected. And we should get this pain rest before any other generator pops, so we are going to have to interrupt them very quickly, because we see our survivors, they have not gotten any resets yet, so might... Okay, never mind. That was Dantes, that was with Clean Break, I believe, was broken. But other survivors have still not been reset, so they're definitely gonna have some decent progress on some generators right now.
I don't think that was a pain error. It was already stacked, used already on Romeo, and we can see some play of FTP. The survivors are a little bit of scared of killer coming back for the tunnel out. And the pressure around the map might be a little bit of problem for our killer. We can see a good setup bottom too, because there is pallet with like deep free to the tile. We can see some 50s from our killer getting the tag. The killer might be a little bit of a trouble. He needs to find the solution for this problem. He needs to down the survivor very fast and hope for another down. Yeah, but it's not making it.
Let me choosing to leave. We do have 3 injuries on the board right now, and a little bit of a miscalculation by Dantes. He will be going down. Sadly, main popping in the meantime, but this is still a pretty fast down, and it's... I mean, we know what generators are progress. This generator right here has some progress, and the generator just deep in the corner had a lot of progress. You see them resetting in the meantime on main, though. Do actually get the heal onto Rainfall, so survivors are taking some time to slow down the game again, because having multiple injuries against Freddy can always be very, very dangerous. Situation you don't want to be in at any point in the game, even if you're feeling kind of comfortable.
Yeah, I feel like with only a pop in the pocket and Penrest for the downs, it's a little bit too hard to like hold the Forgen. Our killer might not think of the opportunity that he had, but let's see, maybe only the pop might be enough to hold the Forgen. Let's hope that he's gonna get the down very fast and get the 4K too. But survivors are doing great job holding the chase and not letting even give a tag.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm most surprised is I feel like even though we've been in this trial for quite some time, these survivors are just spawning more pallets out of their ass, honestly. I don't know where all these pallets are coming from. They still have so many good resources available, even on this side over here. We did drop this pallet though, sadly, and this one survivor, Monster, who, while trying to split up with his teammate, kind of got into a dead zone, but no, he actually still makes the toilet pallet. This is crazy. Yeah, the slowdown comes down, and that... Oh! I was so certain that was going to be a hit. But no, instead we're just going to have to be forced to play even more 50s. But yeah, the M2 comes out. M2 being used quite well. Really make sure the survivors don't have any distance, and he's timing it well as to stop them in these 50 pallets. But the generator does sadly pop, or he's able to get this pain res onto Monster, which is really unfortunate. Now we have to play only for a Tycon, which, I mean, judging by the fact that we just walked by a generator who's super high progress, that's going to be quite difficult to reach still.
I feel like the survivors are doing a great job, and they're not letting any tags and or any like miscalculation for their side. And when I said that, the survivors wins the 50 and not letting a free down for this, we can see some tragic for our killer. He needs to get that down very fast so he can get the pop on the gens. This is very unfortunate situation for our killer.
Yeah, we actually chose not to pop the gen on 5, but we instead wanted to get this cutoff on the unload, but sadly it didn't come out. Team Desperate playing really well on the body blocks, even on these unsafe pallets, 12. And I mean, yeah, this generator, it was already 99 when we last saw it, so it is of course going to be popping. Just barely don't get the pallet hit here onto Rainfall. It's very unfortunate. We will get the M1 at least while they're still slowed down. We're actually not hearing a scream. That's a little bit of funny perk choice. But we do have balance landing, running into a hook, sadly. We might still get this down before they're able to reach much, but no. Team Desperate is here. Avengers assemble. We have not only the injured Deathhook survivor, but also another survivor who is here to tank another hit. Rapid might come in a little bit clutch here, though. I'm not entirely sure. Might still be able to slow down onto Rainfall. We do see it coming out, and the M1 just barely going through Manser. Very unfortunate. We're going to be forcing them out of the gates, and we might collect just a bit more stages here in the end game. Only problem is that we're probably forced to pick up Rainfall here, because he might be able to crawl out the gates, but that does give the other survivors a time to get the pickup across the map.
I feel like our survivors are just having fun right now. They met the win con, they win the set, and they're just very happy that they make that set. Even a little bit of struggle was seen, but they still make it out.
Yeah, absolutely. It is always important to note this was also Desperate's choice of a set, so this is probably the set they were more comfortable on. They might have practiced it a lot more, so this is definitely not something to lose your spirits about if you're Team Eneida. And yeah, we're probably just gonna be going for this unhook, even though it's the end game and we've already won. just to see how many stages you can get out, because you know you always want to see how good of a result you can truly get. You know, maybe post a little bit of a better message in a results channel if you have it in your Discord, that type of stuff. I mean, not seeing any survivors yet. I'm quite surprised we're not seeing anyone when survivors almost reaching second stage, and Dantes is still injured from. Okay, never mind. He just healed from clean bake. That is some funny timing, but just barely get a nice body block. But we should be able to get this down onto Romeo.
But can you make out with Romeo? The killer is cutting off the way to the gate. Let's see if the coordination for the survivor is enough to make them out. Freddy is preparing a little bit of surprise for our survivors here with pallets. Let's see if they can make it.
Oh, we actually tried using that pallet just before they were able to drop it. Wait, this might result in a hit! That is a hit onto Romeo. But I mean, yeah, Dantes is still healthy. He did not... Well, I was thinking maybe there's a chance we get a 2-tap here. I mean, Dantes is making it a little bit dangerous. There was still a chance he gets 2-tapped. Yeah, hopefully we are just gonna finally leave this trial before it starts being any bit of BM, which is, you know, it's a little bit excessive, but it's fine. And overall, this was still a pretty good result by Proxer Killer. It's definitely, I would still say it's kind of an above-average result in stages, so it's very well played. And I think without further ado, we're just gonna go into a small intermission to go on to Eneida's choice of killer, which was, if I'm not mistaken, do you remember, Lazy? What?
I think it was Doctor on the Russian shop.
Gonna be an even more exciting set. Hopefully, seeing even more team play from both sides. So, I mean, I'm very excited for that. We will just see you in a couple of minutes. Not against it. No, it can be really strong perk. It can give you so many free stages in the end game. I feel like you're comfortable on the killer. It might be sometimes a bit better to show that confidence. Bring some perks like Sloppy or Save the Best or Eruption. Maybe play for a bit of crazy free gens, which you get around Wretched Shop. But in general, I'm just excited to see what we have going on here. We're starting our first chase onto 1 against Mancer.
Yeah, I hope that our killer has a bit of a plan for this game, because we already can see a little bit of good RNG around the map. And the killer might be a little bit of a trouble, but the fast rotation from Survivor's side, they're probably on the gen spreading the pressure already. Let's see if the tag comes in. Yeah. And we go to Shack. Do we pre-drop Shack? Yes, we pre-drop Shack and proceed the chase to bottom side of the map, hoping to see any better of the fillers.
Yeah, I mean, Mancer doing a great job here. Even though he was taking chase on the jungle gym all the way on 1, he actually chose to take it further away. He chose to go back into the corrupt area, but right now we are actually kind of close to a progress gen, so we're going to be hit tanking to get even further away. Going to be going back to this mid-map, maybe back to Crane or Shack, which are, of course, probably by far the best locations a survivor can loop. But Proxer Killer actually just choosing to leave this chase. He has 2 different injuries. Corrupt is going to be ending. Even though this is a lot of pressure, if the survivors are able to get a good chase here from Dantes and they're able to get the reset, then they're in a very chill location. They have a lot of gen progress. Yeah, generator on 1 is already popping. Nice shock coming out here. Bill maybe expect that he does get tagged. Survivors are still not getting the reset though, so Proxer Killer is just going to be committing this chase. We're going to be taking it, I mean, exactly to where the generator just got popped, so Bill is kind of happy with this dying location, even if he were to die soon. But we still have the jungle on 1, which wasn't dropped in first chase.
This the killer is a little bit of a problem. He still don't have a down, and I might have jinxed our survivor. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see if the downs comes in. It might be a down if that's not hit tank. Let's see. Ooh, we can see some swing with a miss, and let's see if the hit tank comes in. Maybe. We can see some Yeah, then we got with down, the first down at 3 gens. This is a little bit of hard situation for our killer. This might be the painless, but still, I feel like the survivors are leading the match, and the killer might need to catch up to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Survivors are looking kind of in the lead. We actually have quite a bit of progress on these other generators, even though we had a pain res. It looks like we're completely free splitting and not really interested in getting this unhook right now. If you're doing a bit of scouting, you might realize that even our main free gens have already been popped, so we can't even really play for anything like that. Survivors, of course, are doing a good job just relieving gens. We really don't want to be giving out any free tags right now. That is what could swing this into our killer's favor again. Because, yeah, I mean, the survivor who was working Shack, he's just playing so safe. He's all the way mid-6. He's not going to be risking anything. Actually, we do see a Dr. Effigy around Shack, so we do know that someone has crossed a little bit closer. But, I mean, yeah, they're still all the way in the distance. Their edge map, doing a little bit of sightseeing on this tile, and actually take the bait to go all the way to this chase here. I think the survivor might have crossed from 12, but they could have also just been splitting gens this whole time. I mean, yeah, it appears they're just letting him go second and popping 2 different generators for it. It's a pretty good game plan by the survivors.
Yeah, I don't think the killer had a strategy for it. He needs to go for the freshens and hope that he's gonna get the very fast down with pain resist, and the Noed might come in clutch in this game. We didn't swing for the window and he get the tag. Let's see if we still goes for the tunnel out. Yeah, we are still going for the tunnel out. Let's see if it's gonna be very fast or killer will a little bit of struggle to get the down.
I mean, if we do get the tunnel out here, it would be quite good. We now have 2 different injuries on other survivors, and still all of our pain res is available. And, I mean, this is probably the best free gen we still had remaining at some point, so at least Proxkiller did play for that, which is quite good. So I might be able to make this main filler here if it did spawn. Yes, it is right here. We're gonna be able to buy just a little bit more time, but good shocks should result in, hopefully, the final down onto Dantas. Yeah, I'm not hearing any footsteps. The survivors are just cranking a gen. They might even... I mean, yeah, they're just doubling the gen on Shack, and it's already done. There's not much our killer could have done there. I mean, he could have maybe realized that committing this chase was too dangerous and just go for the fresh hooks as you talked about. Especially with those pain res still available. It's always really... I'm just gonna say, it's depressing looking in the bottom right corner, still seeing free pain res tokens available when you're in endgame. And our survivors were definitely not expecting Noed here, because we had a healthy survivor trying to tank, just running into our killer's face. This might turn out to be quite bad. We have the rapid movement speed onto this eye filler. We have so much distance, and they're going to be dying very soon as well. We're forced to run the short side already. A swing and a miss! That pallet stand! That is absolutely what we needed.
Or let's see if the gates if they can open the gate. The ace is in the little bit of a problem situation. He's only the T-Walls against the doctor with a Nod. There is no pallet around. We can see the pickup. Actually, let's see if the survivor can make the gun and open it, and hoping that they're gonna get 6th stage, but I don't think that's the case. They actually find the Nod, but let's see if then that can help that in their case.
We do see the effigy here, so we know someone is around. I'm not really sure where the survivor herself. They are still on the tile. We do find them, and even though they just got healed with clean break, it's not gonna matter. We're forced to force the locker, but the survivors do get the reset in time. We're obviously gonna be trying to open gates, but I mean, these gates are quite poorly positioned. I feel like we're kind of stuck right here. We're in between the Noah and in between 2 gates, and the hook is gonna be right in the middle of them as well. This is definitely all but over, especially since both survivors are injured. We have the Noah movement speed. This honestly might be a location where the killer is able to get quite a few more stages. We see one survivor all the way on 2, which means even if the survivor opens the gate on 7, we should probably be able to get them at least, which our killer is now actually deciding to kind of commit. We're just gonna commit this chase? No, we still have a jungle gym. It's completely unsafe to commit this, so we're forced to go back.
I think Killer wants to have all the freshes. He wants to commit the ace to get the down and get the next 3 stages. But let's see if the Killer can realize that, because the gate is already open. The ace is probably sitting, going to the gate, yeah, and they're just getting the 6th stage too fresh. This might be hard win con for the Killer to actually for the Survivor to get, because yeah, the other Killer can get the nod, because I think it was Eneida pick the Doctor, so they're quite skilled at the set. Let's see if they can show the skill that they need.
Yeah, it's definitely quite unfortunate. I feel like our killer player, Proxer Killer, he put up a good result, and if we only had maybe a couple more MS, a couple more ping, we could have gotten that hit onto the survivor on the eye filler while we were running short side, and then it would have actually been a 4K0. Would have been a really good result on Doctor, but we were just barely not able to get that. Instead, we get a 6 stage 2 fresh, as you mentioned, which while it's very difficult, it's definitely not over, because survivors have so many different tricks they can pull against Doctor. They can go for a bunch of hit tanks, and if chases are long enough, they can heal in the meantime again, or they can obviously throw down pallets for each other. So that's really what I'm hoping to see right now. Is with these types of win cons, you have to have a lot of coordination and team play.
Welcome back, everyone, to the second set of to the second match of the second set. We are seeing the desperate on the Killer. The last match resulted was 6 stages, 2 freshes. The Killer needs to get 7 stages or 6 stages with 3 fresh. We don't see Noed. I'm a little bit surprised. I think the Killer might be confident in his skills on Doctor. What do you think about this interim?
Yeah, I can't lie, I'm always happy to see Stabiffle. I feel like it's such an underrated perk in comp. It can offer so much value. It doesn't matter if you're camping or if you're going for fresh hooks, as long as you're not chasing the obsession, you get such insane value. And we're already getting a nice early tag onto Boo. They're slightly zoned, but they do path well. They're gonna be able to drop Shack. Dante's actually gonna be trying some ancient never mind, no ancient ritual to outplay Shack on Doctor, but we're just zoning them. That's what we meant to do, I think. So we're getting a nice early down. That's definitely what the plan was, I think. Right, Lazy?
Yeah, I think the Survivor wasn't expecting Doctor to just go around the Shack and cut him off. I feel like that is sometimes such an underrated play, because the Survivor is not expecting a Killer to just walk around the Shack and don't break it. We can see only one stack the gen for this chase. I don't think the Survivor has any more progress with it. We still have a pain res on the Survivor because of the basement, and we can see already 2 stacks of Stibiffle. Maybe the Survivor didn't even get to know the Killer has that kind of perk. Let's see.
Yeah, usually Stabiffle, it's quite hard to tell at only 2 stacks, but once it starts getting to 3 or 4 stacks, you should really be able to tell it's there, in my opinion. Unhook coming out quite early, and actually just hitting the Survivor off hook. And this is a bit of an interesting play. This is something you would normally never do on M1 killers, but we're just farming an extra free stack of Stabiffle onto Boo before we actually choose to go onto Proxer Killer, who is of course a fresh hook. And they're actually 2-tap. Oh my god, Stabiffle already giving value. The Stabiffle rapid combo. I feel like without these perks, Proxy Killer would have easily made this pallet gym, but instead we are getting a pain res mid-map. We see some scratch marks, maybe. No funny pallet, no pallet saves. I think Dantes was also a little bit scared of it. He backed away just in time, but we did not have to be scared. Survivors do kind of need to be scared, because once these Stabiffle stacks start racking up, they gotta make sure they're ready to pop more generators and get into that endgame very, very soon.
I don't think uh, Killer wants out the Adam. The Adam is like the worst opponent that our Killer can have right now. Our Killer wants that kind of not obsession players, and we find our tunnel out. from the basement. Let's see if he can make the window. Actually, he makes it. Let's see if the mind game works. It a little bit works. The survival lost a little bit of distance. Let's see if they're gonna win the 50. They win the 50. And right now the mind game is incoming. Ooh, there's some kind of 50s from our survivor. And our killer expected the pre-vault. And we get another down. It's already 3 stages at 2 survivors. What do you think about that?
This is crucial. We found our tunnel out again, and as you mentioned, we were still able to get a pain res on them as well, which is really, really nice because I was right on top of this high progress gen where Boo just got hooked on top of. So right now, Dantas is chilling quite hard. We only have 1 generator popped, and I feel like we don't kind of lacking progress on other places of the map. We see here 1 survivor doing a gen on Shack, but we're actually already going to be going for the pull. Maybe trying to get an FTP out and denying this tunnel out. Oh, we're just going to be unhooking them, leaving them up to their fate for now. The killer will probably just continue this tunnel out. Yeah, I mean, they're stuck on this relatively unsafe towel. Going up for a sneaky little vault. Sneaky little double vault. Triple vault? Ah, no, no, no. Oh, there we go. Delayed triple vault. True combo is going to be working out. No, we do, of course, still have 1 survivor here who's ready to hit tank. If there was also a Metal of Man survivor, so if we tank enough hits, might give us some extra value, but... And yeah, hit tanks. Kek W, Stabiffle Rapid. You made so much distance, man.
This is a little bit of problem for our survivor. They just realized that killer has the Stabiffle. And they don't make any tally, but they still play it out very well. They still have a little bit of RNG mid-side of the map. Let's see if the survivor is gonna die for each other. I don't think that's a play. We did some backflip and we are not on the pallet. That is a little bit of a problem. We have a tunnel at 2 gens with 4 stages. Let's see if the killer can make the win con with 2 painers still in the game.
I mean, could be quite possible. We know where 2 survivors are, and disaster actually gets instantly found. And I mean, even though this was a healthy survivor, we're just getting 2-tapped. There's nothing they can do. These pallets, even though normally they would be safe against other killers, they are not safe against this doctor. This might actually result in another pain res as well if we make it. Or we could just use the hook right here as well. It's not that important. Yeah, we are just going to be dragging this all the way over here. Hook on the gen on 4 might also have some progress. Yeah, we do hear some. Proxer Killer has been pranking that gen for quite some time. They didn't expect the pain res since maybe it wasn't called out, but that's quite unfortunate. And we're kind of zoned. We're stuck with the chase next to this hook. Proxer Killer, of course, will be trying his best to run as far away as possible. We have some decent pallets here to play. So, I mean, hopefully Proxer Killer is able to last here for Lemonade to at least get the unhook. I mean, the 50s are kind of being won by Doctor right now. We're getting some good shocks. Dantas definitely knows what he's doing on the clown.
Let's see the T-walls into the pallet. This is some good RNG we can see. Let's see if the Lemonade will come with the hit tanks. Probably Survivor realizes there is the Biffle. There comes the mind game from our doctor. And it results down. It is the 5th stage in the game, which is a little bit of a problem for our survivor, because the next stage is the win con for our killer.
Yeah, I mean, what's kind of unfortunate right now is Dantas could, I'm pretty sure, just hard camp this hook with Stabiffle. They're not even going to be able to get the unhook in time, but of course Dantas wouldn't be interested in that. He realizes he can get a way better result here. He's going to play for a 4K2, maybe a 4K1, but I feel like it's definitely possible to not let any more generators pop at this point, especially since we are committing Proxer Killer, the injured survivor here. Actually, maybe going back to our gen setup. It is a decent gen setup, definitely not the best, but as we know, there's a survivor somewhere around here. Does help us quite a bit. Actually, Lemonade took quite a bit of distance, so just kicking the gens, looking around while the survivors hopefully get a reset, so it might put them in a position to kind of get back from this this tough position they were in.
We can see some pre-drop from a Lemonade. Let's see if the killer can mind game a little bit. No, he just breaks the pallet and zone the survivor to get a free tag for it. I don't think the pre-dropping was the play for our survivor, he just zoned himself. The Stibifil comes in again, even it's the obsession because of the 6 stacks. Let's see if the survivor can make something. I think that's a down.
Did see Claudette just close by. They might be going for the pallet save. No, they were just barely not under the pallet. It doesn't matter. And I mean, that's again, it's the Biffle. We were able to pick them up just before they were able to crawl under the pallet. See the Dr. Effigy on this gen on 4, which means we're hooking right on top of the only generator that's being progressed. Last painter is coming out. Some good regression. We know both survivors are around here. Claudette's going to be playing really aggressive for the unhook, actually. I was going to say they're playing decently aggressive, but that was a really aggressive unhook. They just did not want to have a survivor hooked right on top of this gen, but I don't think it's going to matter too much because Claudette cannot really make any distance. She's kind of stuck taking the chase here as well. I'm not sure if she dodged the shock there or if she... Yeah, she dodged the shock, so she's going to be making a little bit more distance. She makes it all the way back to Shack. Doctor, however, not instant committing the chase. He knows more survivors are around in this corner in 5. And we're just going to be committing Proxer Killer right here.
We can see some mind games from our killer with shock. We're getting... I don't think there is something that he gets stuck on, but I guess the games have something there. We can see Proxy Killer on the good chase, hoping that he can make the chase a bit longer, but I don't think the killer is interested in committing him. We can see 2 survivors in the same location. And I don't think there is any options left. We can see some mind games from our killer, and that's the result, the down. This is 6 stack of the Stibifil again.
Dante's doing such a great job in chase. I mean, it's really looking rough for the survivors now, even to get any more generators. But their main hope is that the killer doesn't really have any more slowdown perks. I mean, all we have are our chase perks. We don't have Eruption, we don't have Ruin, we don't have Pain Resist anymore. So if you want to pop generators, now is the time, but it's going to require a lot of good coordination and hopefully some good chases.
As we can see, Killer had the result that he forced the survivor to rotate very quickly because of the gen. And that might result in the tag for our killer. We can see some good pathing from Proxy Killer, hoping that he's gonna make the chase longer and can drop the pallet, but I don't think Dante is gonna let him do that. And there goes the distance for our survivor. There's literally nothing for him to play against the Stibifil Rapid. It's very hard to do anything against this. And that's the second turn out of the game. And this might result a little bit of 2v1, which is gonna be very hard for our survivor.
Survivors are, of course, just trying their best. They're not even healing, just getting as much progress as absolutely possible right now. Which, I mean, judging by the progress they had, they might be able to pop at least 1 more generator. I mean, this gen right here is very high progress, so we're gonna have to be forced to kind of control this a little bit. It's over 75%. We know this one survivor is here, but Dantes is probably... No, he's not scared of the other gen popping. We're just taking our time. We're breaking some resources, and then we are gonna check this generator on 5 as well.
I feel like our killer is very happy with the result that's are for now, because we can see some nodding from the killer. I mean, the 4K2 for now is very good result, and still with Stibifil Rapid it is very good.
The Claudette's doing her absolute best to extend this chase a little bit longer. She, of course, does not opt to go towards 8 where our gen is being worked, so instead she's playing this main window for a little bit. It is probably just doomed to fail. She tries to dodge the shock. Great attempt, but sadly she does get hit by the shock. A little bit of a locker juke not working out. now. I mean, we know where our last survivor was. He just popped the gen. There's only really one place he could have run, which was up the right side of the map. We're gonna be shocking in the middle. That's barely just not hitting him, but we do see the scratch marks, so it shouldn't matter too much. And yeah, that gen, even though it's high progress, we're definitely not popping it for a 4K0. That's quite unfortunate for Lemonade.
Yeah, this is gonna be probably the last chase of the trial. Let's see if the Lemonade will show a little bit of some joking against the Doctor and show that he's very skilled against this killer. You can see some mind game coming from our killer, shocking the survivor and not letting him vault the window or making any distance.
Oh, great mind game there. Faking the second shock to try to cut him off from vaulting the elbow, which forced him to run around and just got the down anyways. That was some great mechanics by Dantes. I mean, I'm really surprised. This was not their set pick, but they still seemed very confident on both survivor side and killer side. That was very well played by Team Desperate in all of these trials.
Yeah, they showed they're very skilled and they're flexible in the sets. The opponents pick, and still they can keep up the pressure and still makes very good results that they have.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, without further ado, I think that is already the end for this first stream. It was some pretty fast matches, so we're just going to be taking a small break before our next matchup starts, which is going to be in a little over half an hour. It's going to be Apoptosis versus Serenia. We have some more exciting sets. We have Plague, and then a Spring Trap set, which I'm really excited for. I don't think I've gotten to cast many Spring Trap sets, so I'm really looking forward to that match. And without further ado, I think we're just going to be ending stream, and I will see you guys later tonight.